I just did an entire video on acceptance, and then I deleted it. I don't know why I find that so funny, but I do. So yeah, I'm having some issues with acceptance lately. Even accepting my own videos. So yeah, I don't even know if that's what I want to talk about today. Although all the pictures will be different versions of acceptance because that's what I was using. This program that I use is very strange. I have to put something in before I can record, and then it has to be the same length of whatever I put in there, so that's why some of the pictures stay up for a long time. And anyway, you know, I think more of what I want to talk about is, it goes back to being human again, and I don't know, I guess I'm just on that kick. Maybe this is part 2 of the video I uploaded yesterday, but, it's a different way, though, because, when I first started on this path, whatever it is, I would often find people that I thought had all the answers. You know, you find those people a lot. You think they have all the answers. And then I would find something out about them that was very human, that was, you know, a mistake or some transgression or whatever. I mean, sometimes it wasn't even a big deal. I remember one person I was reading about, and of course they had done like a book or something about love and relationships and that kind of thing, and they got divorced, and I was like, wait a minute, this person's talking about relationships and they got divorced, and it just was like, well, they obviously have nothing to say. And it's just so funny because we really, at least I guess I shouldn't say we, I personally really had to get over this thing where I expected people who gave out advice to not be human, to really have all the answers, and to not have the kinds of problems that normal everyday people have. I think a lot of that had to do with seeking, and I think it's very common for people when they start really questioning things and their reality, and you know, you just start noticing things that are just so hypocritical or contradictory to, you know, something that's coming out of someone's mouth and then what they're actually doing. And you start looking for answers, and you start looking for those people who have advice, and then noticing that they too are human and that they make mistakes. And that's all part of seeking. And eventually you get to a point where you do understand that all of the answers are in you. You do have all of the answers. You have the answers for everything that you need. At the same time, however, people are a mirror, and you can learn from them because what you're seeing in the outside world is a reflection of yourself. And so when you notice these people having these problems, it's really a reflection of you having your problems. And I don't know about anyone else, but I always have so much, it's so easy for me to give advice to other people, to look at their situation and give them advice on exactly what they should do. And in my mind, I can see it working out perfectly. And if we would take that and actually turn it around and realize that the person we're giving advice to is ourselves, those are actually our answers that we're giving out to other people. And turn those around and apply them to our own lives, we have our answers. We've just given them. You know, when you can remove yourself from the situation like you can when it's someone else's problem, I think you're kind of tapping into a higher bit of consciousness there, because your ego's not so wrapped up in it, and in your emotions and everything, and you can see things a little more clearly. But if you realize that everything is a reflection of you, you realize that you're actually giving that same advice to yourself. And I don't know. So it's not to say that you can't get help from other people, because, you know, I think you can. I think it's a reflection of you, and when someone's spitting out advice, you're really talking to yourself. And I guess that kind of goes along with the theory of all of us being one at our core, so that when you hear something from another person, it really resonates with you. That's your higher consciousness telling you that this is something that you should listen to. This is something that will be beneficial to you. And even if, I guess I had to get to a point where just because someone did something in their past, or was talking about relationships and got divorced, or talked about money but had a bankruptcy in their past, it does not mean that they don't have any valid information for you. Sometimes they even have more because they've been through it and they understand. But there's something about our society where we feel like those kind of people are not qualified to talk about things. And I know I personally have gotten away from that, and I hope that others are starting to do the same thing. And that comes down to acceptance, accepting that just because someone did something in their past, or they may do it in their future, it doesn't mean that in the present moment what they have to say to you is not valid, because it most certainly can be. And as a reflection of you, you might even see it as, in that moment when you're with that person, it's like you talking to you in a mirror, basically. So don't discount that, because it can be very helpful. And I think this is another place where discernment comes in, where you really have to discern what is right for you. And that can be very hard in this world that we live in, because we have so many people that want to tell us what we should do and what we should believe, and who's right and who is, going to be, have everlasting life and who is not, and all this kind of thing. But really, we have to use our own inner guidance for all of that, because we just know best for us. And you can't, maybe a long time ago you could convince me otherwise, but I've gotten to the point where I really do believe that we know best. And what's right for one particular person may not be right for another person, but at the same time, they can both be right, because that's the kind of world that we live in, truthfully. Not the one that people would have you believe we live in, where you have to believe the right way and do the right way and all of that. But discernment is using your intuition to figure out what is an answer for you. If you are reading something or listening even to this and it doesn't feel right to you, then it's not. And personally, I've found sometimes I can listen to something once and find that I just disagree with everything about it, and there's no way that's right. And a few times, as a matter of fact, I've gone back and known that I was watching the same video or listening to the same person, but it just made sense to me at that point, because I had grown to a place where I could, it gets to a point where, here's, like, take this entire video, here's the whole flow coming out of my mouth and whatever. But you can take the bits and pieces that are for you and use them for you. And the parts that aren't for you, don't worry about it. And that takes practice, and that takes, it really takes releasing some of that ego mind a little bit, to where you can have something come in to your mind without it offending you. Understanding that it's just someone else's point of view and may not be right for you, but that it is right for that person, and allowing others to have, like I said in the video yesterday, allowing others to be on their path and for that to be okay for them, and not to have them change or anything else. So I guess I'll leave you with the fact that all of this is very easy to talk about, but it's not as easy in practice. I'm currently working on everything I'm talking about now, and I hope if anyone else is at this point that this helps in some way, and anything you have to add to the discussion, I would love to hear, because I'm always looking for what works for other people and trying it out for myself. So anyway, I will talk to you soon.